Welcome inside the Sporting News Studios. I'm Raven Tirado, and joining me is our NFL analyst, Ross Tucker. Kentucky takes down Wisconsin in a nail-biting finish, winning the game by 1 point.
Yeah, this guy, John Stevenson, next to me, I guess he's kind of important. He's only the president of the College Football Hall of Fame. John, how does someone get there, if you will?
Hey, just be at the right place at the right time.
Arizona State ranked 19th, and UCLA sits at number 14. This is a fantastic matchup, but who prevails?
Going into this half, do you see your guys continuing to attack that 2-3 zone?
With a huge NFC win in the Super Bowl, is this a signal of NFC dominance in the years to come? Over a span of 40 weeks, NASCAR will race 38 times. Do the math, that's only 2 off weekends. This includes 17 consecutive weeks of racing to wrap up the season. Welcome to this edition of Round the Track.
This guy knows what he's doing, and he should. He was with Camden County under Coach Harrington for a while, and then took over at Tucker High School.
Sean, the Pacers and the Raptors come out on top, but the Bulls struggled against the Wizards. What's the most telling thing about these games played last night?
Do you see in Matt Castle, and do you see them establishing the run game early on?
Well, I think Matt Castle is a very good quarterback.
Troy, the Colts, Bengals, and the Packers are having trouble selling their playoff tickets. Does this surprise you at all?
It does a little bit.
Sure, you ready to have a heart attack yet?
Oh, man, I tell you, they've been playing like that all year. 1 minute they look like they know how to play, next minute they look like they never picked up a ball before.
The Steelers signed 250-pound bruiser LeGarrette Blount. I'm Raven Tirado, and joining me is our NFL analyst, Ross Tucker. Ross, you're saying this is an old-school move made by the Steelers. Why is that? Troy, you've not only played in Thanksgiving games, but you've commentated Thanksgiving games. Which one do you prefer?
Wow, I always liked playing.
Troy, let's go back before you played in the league. What is one of the Thanksgiving games that sticks out to you?
The game that I remember most is Roger Staubach when he went down against the Washington Redskins.
All right, Andrew Wiggins, is he a lock at number 1?
No, certainly not, and some of that is going to depend on who winds up with that pick.
The UConn Huskies are the 2014 NCAA national champions. They held off Kentucky 60-54. This gives the Huskies their 4th national title in the men's program. For up-to-date scores and headlines, keep checking back with us here at sportingnews.com. Michigan's Mitch McGary will enter the NBA draft. The news comes after failing a drug test during the NCAA tournament, which would have resulted in a year suspension for McGary if he would have decided to stay with the Wolverines. McGary appeared in 8 games during the 2013-14 season, battling back issues throughout. The Bears signed Jared Allen to a 4-year deal. I'm Raven Tirado, and joining me to discuss this signing is our NFL analyst, Ross Tucker. Ross, are you a bit surprised? We heard a lot of teams, but not the Bears.
Yeah, that did throw me for a loop. And what was crazy about it, Raven, is the Bears actually announced it.
The NHL playoffs are coming to a close, and what better way to evaluate the ups and downs of the opening series than with Sporting News hockey analyst Sean Gentili. Welcome to another edition of Round the Track. I'm Raven Tirado, and joining me is our NASCAR rider, Bob Pockris. Bob, my favorite race of the year, Talladega.
Favorite race?
Yeah, the only one I've ever been to.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a good one, though. Good time.
Did you see the race, or did you just...
The second time I did.
Okay.
The first time, not so much. But anyway, so Talladega, but big topic of conversation, Danica Patrick. Can she win?
Yeah, she can win, just like most drivers can win at Talladega, but...
Hogan's already created a dynasty in this classification, but now Kusa is. They're back-to-back champions, so it's great to see that dynasty building along with another team, so it's created quite the rivalry.
Rick Nash is back. Can Montreal survive without Carey Price? And the added value of Andrew Shaw to the Blackhawks. All of that in this edition of NHL Playoff Watch presented by Labatt Blue. I gotta say, Matt, the one thing that stood out to me was Steve Spurrier. Why number 2 on the list?
Raven, I think if you look at what Steve Spurrier has done at South Carolina, that place was an armpit.
California Chrome is looking for that Triple Crown win. I'm Raven Tirado. Joining me is Marcus Donito. Marcus, why is it so hard for horses to take on the Triple Crown?
Well, we've been tantalized 12 times. This is the 13th time.
NFL Films' Greg Cosell says Blake Bortles is the best quarterback prospect in this year's draft. I'm Raven Tirado, and joining me to discuss this is our NFL analyst, Ross Tucker. Ross, agree or disagree with Cosell?
The biggest obstacle for Gordon Lee to get to the big dance today was going through that Region 6. I talked to Coach Gallion earlier, and he said going through Region 6 prepared them for the talent that they would see today. Coach, looking back before you started this whole crazy deal, did you ever imagine 6 state titles in 8 years?
No. That's something that you can't even dream about something like that.
Error on that last play, and then Buford scored with that mismatch. How do you contain Buford offensively going in the second half?
Just keep doing what we're doing, man. We just had a busted coverage right there, but our defense is playing really good.
Injury update, Raven Tirado, what's going on?
Yes, John, number 99, Davis for Griffin. He will be out for the remainder of the game. He sub-flexed his kneecap. While they've been working on him, wrapping him up, he's almost been in tears. He keeps saying, I'm going back in, I'm not finishing it out like this, but if the trainers have it their way, we won't be seeing him for the rest of this state championship game. Back to you, John. After seeing these shirts, talking to multiple people in the community, talking to former players, former coaches, and even current coaches, it's easy to say that Washington County is pop strong tonight. Griffin has a lot of colorful people coming out of it. 17 NFL players, including a man you might know, Jesse Tuggle, Every Clemens this side of the Mississippi. But on top of that, they've had the likes of Doc Holliday, that's right, the gunslinger, gambler, the outlaw, if you will, that headed out west. That was also a dentist. They also had like Sidney Lanier, the poet. Honey Boo Boo, remember that show? June, she went to Griffin High School. So a lot of interesting people to come out of the city of Griffin, showing you why it's great to be a Georgia Peach. Back up to you, John. Got one more thing to ask you. Do you think I could face you in an arm wrestling match?
You could, you want to.
Do you think? I think I can win.
I'm telling you, you're supposed to believe that. You're supposed to believe it.
All right, here we go. Ready, set,
Ludacris here. Luda, let's first start off with, how long have you been a Falcons fan?
I've been a Falcons fan since before I can remember, to be honest with you.
All right, with our State Farm Player of the Week, Julio Jones, a fellow Tide member. It's great to be standing here with you, sir. How does it feel to reach that first ever 1,000-yard season? Okay, we'll step away from the NFL. Let's talk about our team, the Tide. What's your prediction for them against Notre Dame? Do you have a favorite Nick Saban moment that you can share with us on camera?
No.
Okay, I love that. Coach, I got to ask you, do we get a few more years, or are you done?
Don't ask me that. Don't ask me that. I want to enjoy this right here, okay?
Okay, fair enough. Well, congratulations. Enjoy your win. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you so much.
Back up to you guys.